Rock Solid Wrestling makes its way back down the Mile of Gold and returns to Kirkland Lake, Ontario for the first time in 4 years. Saturday night, August 19th, live from the Northern College Athletics and Wellness Center, it's a night of fights in support of community living Kirkland Lake, featuring Canadian heavyweight champion Scotty the Body, Cody Diener, Crystal Moon, Tornado, and more. Get your tickets online at rocksolidwrestling.tickit.ca or in person at the Pronto store on Taylor Avenue. Rock Solid Wrestling is back in Kirkland Lake, Saturday, August 19th. Don't miss it.
Wrestling fans around the world, this is Effie from, wrestling and the internet, and you're listening to Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
I'm an ass man. Yeah, I'm an ass man. I love to love 'em. I love to kick 'em. I love to shove 'em. I love to stick 'em. Love to float 'em.
Well, we are live, pals, and welcome to another edition of the Bill After Seal of Approved Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. This week, Mike, cue up the saxophone music. Are you an ass man? You look so good to me. Scissor me.
Thank you.
Scissor me, buddy, because we're scissor me.
Don't do that. No, never do that to me again. Get those fucking down.
Scissor me
down. I can
scissor
smell
me,
those
daddy.
from here. Get rid
Scissor
of
me,
those
daddy.
things. I will not scissor you.
We are going to take a step back from our usual, well, not really, I guess we're still our usual format, but we're going to take a really in-depth look at the career of Mr. Ass, the one, Kip, Billy Gunn.
Yeah. A lot of names, what else you got? The Outlaw.
Yeah, I don't really like his TNA run, so I stay away from it. I put together a little top 7 Billy Gunn career moments, and I didn't even look
how
at
much
his
TNA is
TNA.
how much VKM did you watch today?
6 spots are on the list for the VKM. The worst thing ever. The only thing I like about the VKM is when they cut that promo challenging Sean and Hunter to the Alamo, because the guys at OSW make fun of it so much. And see you at the Alamo, Mike and Hunter. It's so funny.
It's like, so bad.
You need to watch OSW reviews, Mike. I'm telling you.
They're TNT. Listen, maybe at the 5-year mark of the show, when you've told me for 5 straight years, I'll start watching it.
If anyone listening right now listens to OSW reviews, please message Mike just to be like, he's not wrong, because I'm not wrong. It's the best. Second best podcast in wrestling.
Or anyone who's listening to this and actually listens to the show, please tell your friends about this show, not OSW. This show.
Oh yeah, I guess that's
this one.
Subscribe as well. That'd be good.
Yeah, maybe hit that subscribe button. My God, how's it going, buddy?
I was just gonna ask you that.
I'm good, man. I've been at the cottage. This is my last day at the cottage. I've been there for 4 days. I'm taking off in the morning, going back to work. Yeah, but so I'm feeling good. Let me tell you what I'm really feeling good about. 1 week ago today, you and me, man, that may have been my favorite 90 minutes on this show ever.
Oh yeah, the CW Anderson interview. That's so good.
It's up there, and it was. Can we talk about this for a minute? Because we haven't talked about this on air. We haven't been on air since that recording. That CW Anderson, I was looking forward to it. Obviously, I look forward to all our interviews, and I knew he was going to be an interesting show. But he's definitely not one of the ones I was going. This is going to be one of the best interviews we've ever done, dude. We talked to that man for 90 minutes, and we didn't even scratch the surface of the questions we had.
Yeah, I had to call it because I was looking at the time.
Exactly.
I was like, I got an errands to run. I was like, oh shit.
We're going to have to do a part 2 just to get the rest of the questions that we had done, let alone there's enough stuff in there to do part 3, part 4. And he's got a 20-30 minute story that he couldn't tell us that I am dying to hear.
Let's pull the curtain back a little bit too. We were talking a little bit off air after we're done recording, and he said anytime we want him back on to reach out, And he also sent us a very nice tweet saying he had a great time on the show and that he will definitely come back on.
We have talked to, we're lucky, we've never really talked to any assholes on the show. Like we've never dealt with any dickhead wrestlers, really. You know, we've had a couple that have been a little.
Well, we've had Danny Franchise on the show.
Well,
before.
we've had a little. We had some that are a little, lack of a better term, I guess, cold. Well, you know, not as friendly. We've had a couple that just been straight to point, straight to business. But we've never had a complete piece of shit. C.W. Anderson is one of the nicest people I've ever talked to.
Yeah.
He was just like, from the minute we picked up, like we didn't even hit the record button yet. We already had this great rapport with him, and he felt inclined to open up with him. The day we recorded happened to be a day of let's call mourning for him. It was the anniversary of somebody that he lost, and it was very important to him. And he told us flat out, yeah, you know, that's what I'm feeling today. And he didn't have to open up off camera to us about that. He didn't have to tell us that, but he did, and that showed what kind of person he was before we even hit that red button. And then the rest just came. You guys heard the interview. If you haven't, please go back and listen to it. If you're going to listen to one interview that we've done in the last 3 years, make it that one. That one is for your wrestling fans. That one's for your ECW fans. That one's for your sports entertainment fans and your pure wrestling fans. That's for everybody. That was the learning tree for us last week.
There was one thing that he said on there, and it took me a few days, like going back, and I clipped the episode, and I'm going to start releasing some clips over the next little bit here. But there's one story that I really think that we could that should be looked into more, and that's the one where he was talking about the doctor trying to force the shots on him and to get back in the ring and basically threatening his job. Like, yeah. I'm going to dig into that a little bit more. That's just something that, you know, he said so many things, and I just feel like he said that, and we just kind of were like, okay, let's, because we kind of
brushed it off, yeah.
Not even brush it off, but
no,
like, I don't think it like registered the impact of what he was saying until
I agree with you.
So yeah, I'm gonna.
But this isn't the same conversation where we talked about an inch and a half staple going through the height of his cock. I mean, there was a lot going on in this conversation.
Absolutely, there was.
Maybe the hardest I've ever laughed in my life, at least on this show, was when he was talking about that staple going in his dick.
Oh, that was so funny.
Or when he was talking about Carino spooning the Japanese man. Funny stuff. If you haven't listened to it, please go back and take
every story he told was entertaining right off the hop. You know, he didn't waste any time. He wasn't afraid to pull punch or to just let go what was in the chamber. Like, he was honest. You know what I mean? It's not like he's one of those guys that was like telling stories where it's like, oh, this guy's just fucking working. Like, he was just a straight shooter and a great guy.
Yeah, there was 100%. No bullshit there. It was great. Loved it.
You watch any wrestling this week or last week? Anything in the world of wrestling jumping out at you?
I'm cottaging, man. I turn off the world when I cottage, so not really. I get notifications here and there. I mean, the reason for the season, the reason we're doing the show, obviously, I know about Billy Gunn putting his boots in the ring. I do have a question for you because I saw the clip. I watched that clip this morning, actually. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
It screamed work to me. Everybody's acting like it's a shoot. And it very well could be, but that's how they act with Cody too. So it's screaming work to me. The way that the Acclaimed were like, hey, what are you doing? He pushed past them to go up the ramp. It didn't scream genuine to me. It screamed very, very storyline. Did you see something different?
I mean, that was my first thought as well. And maybe they're all just working, but like the fact that Malachi Black, who protects his character very strongly in AEW, you know, kind of broke character and went up and gave him a hug. Yeah, that was kind of like, but I mean, they could be working us. I don't think we've seen the last of Billy Gunn in a professional wrestling ring, unless there's some kind of injury maybe we don't know about.
All right,
but I don't think that like we're never going to see him fight another match again. But I think this could be the end of him as a weekly in-ring performer, maybe.
Yeah. Like it just kind of, to me, it kind of came out of nowhere, right?
I think that's kind of the way he wanted to do it, though. You know what I mean? He put over some young talent. He took the fall in the match, right?
Listen, he did, yeah. And listen, and that's one thing you can say about Billy Gunn. He's never been afraid to put over young talent.
No, he's work with young talent's fantastic.
and going through doing some research today about his career and stuff. He's doing a lot for the people that people didn't do for him, and I'll say, and I have no problem saying that. Motherfucker got buried by people that didn't need to bury him. And I'm gonna find. I want to see if you agree with me, because you might call bullshit on this. You might say I'm wrong. It's just the way I see things. 99% of the work from The Rock in their feud didn't need to go down the way it did. I don't think The Rock had. I don't think The Rock had any intention of making Billy Gunn look good in that feud at all. Now, this is not the first time, second time, or even last time that Rock will ever be accused of this. Sting was very upset when Rock did this to Booker T. You could maybe make the argument that he tried to do it to Cena. The Rock kind of goes a little too far with his insults sometimes, and doesn't think of the repercussions of what he's saying. To me, I revisited their SummerSlam feud today, and number one, the build is dog shit.
Yeah, Catwoman's ass,
really bad. Yeah, but the promo stuff, it doesn't. I don't understand. I go back and we've both heard guys like Jake the Snake and other guys talk with this. If you're going to cut down your opponent so bad, how does that make and basically call them a nobody and a jobber? Then what does that do for you? It makes you look like an idiot.
I only remember that promo where he was talking to God. Like, but my name's Billy.
That was actually really funny. That out of all of it, that's the part that made me laugh. He's like, okay, Bob, yeah. My name's Billy. It doesn't matter. That was funny. It's the lines like after that match, he goes, I'm supposed to be The Rock. I'm supposed to be in the main event. You got me up against Gangrel and Billy Gunn. Why? What did that do? That just makes you look stupid.
I mean,
because you're not beating anybody. You suck.
I don't know the specific promo you're talking about, so I won't comment on that. I agree with you. Obviously, I'm a big believer. Don't talk down your opponents. Everything you said. Here's my take on the Billy Gunn Rock feud. I think it was a mixture of, by no fault of his own, awful writing. Billy's just coming off winning the King of the Ring, which still meant something at that time.
Up until then, I think
that was really the last year that it meant something. I agree.
But it didn't mean anything in this. Look at they did nothing for Billy. The minute Billy won it, there was no pomp and circumstance. There wasn't even a ceremony. They did nothing for Billy.
But that tournament, what I'm trying to say is
winning, the fact that the tournament sucked. Yes.
Winning the King of the Ring.
I know what you're saying.
Winning the King of the Ring was a big rub at that time. It meant something. It's not like it is now, where it's just like, holy fuck.
Now rumor has it that Billy was never supposed to win this. Rumor has it that their first pick was Big Show. And at the time, Big Show weighed more than they wanted him to. And he didn't lose the weight in time, so they scratched him. Apparently, their second pick
tournament, right?
Yes, he was. As was their second pick, who made it to the finals. Their second pick apparently was X-Pac. And X-Pac's backstage exploits got him into some hot water, and they took him off. And then their third pick, they're like, fuck it, they just do Billy. And then didn't do anything for Billy. And that's the main problem.
I actually have never heard that before. I always thought Billy was their choice.
I only heard this today. I was watching some build-ups for getting through this, and I watched his entire solo career build-up. And that's just what the dirt sheet writers who put this out are saying. Am I stating that as fact? Of course not. I don't know. This is rumor and innuendo.
Well, I want to go back to your Rock stuff here, because I think I think there's two big factors that laid kind of Billy to rest there. Number one, fucking god awful writing.
Yep.
Number 100%. two, though, you mentioned, The Rock burying guys. Like he did it with Billy Gunn. He tried to do it with Cena. What was the other name that you said? You said three names there. I can't remember the other.
Booker T.
Booker T. Right?
Yes.
Booker
Who
T.
the blue hell are you?
Booker T. Billy Gunn. John Cena. Now, he didn't bury Cena because Cena held his own, right? The Rock is A+ player. And I think that The Rock's going to push you to pull out A+ games.
And everything The Rock threw at Cena threw right the fuck
100%. Because Cena is also an A+ player. Yes. I just think that, and no fault of his own and no fault of Booker's own, there's not a lot of people that can hang with The Rock.
You're right. But here's another question, because we hear about this kind of politicking bullshit all the time. Do you think it's also possible that a guy like Billy Gunn was afraid that if he did go A+ against The Rock, he would get in trouble?
No.
John Cena's not getting in trouble.
I don't think so.
John Cena will not get in trouble for throwing shit at The Rock. But if somebody like a Gangrel or a Billy Gunn, if they're going to throw shit at The Rock at Rock's level, do you think they're afraid, I don't want to get in heat?
I don't think that they can get to Rock's level, is what I'm saying.
You don't think so? Okay. No. I understand that that's your point, and I agree with you. But could the fear of getting in heat in the back be part of that?
I don't think so personally. I just think that there's only a certain people.
No, Billy has proven his promos in the past.
Billy's a great promo.
He's not, though.
I think he's a good promo. I don't think he's like. I watched a bunch of his
promos today, and they're not great.
They're not awful, but I mean, like, we're talking.
There's a reason why in the hierarchy of DX you had, Triple H cutting 20-minute promos, and you had the Road Dogg doing every catchphrase in the book, and they gave one line to Billy.
Yeah, but I mean, Billy could hold his own on a promo, is what I'm saying. Is he going to cut a promo with The Rock and hang? No, but 90% of people aren't going to cut a promo with The Rock and hang. Let's be real. Yeah. You know what I mean? Booker T. Same thing, right? Yeah. Roman Reigns couldn't hang with Cena when they did their shit. Like, not everybody's on that level. You know what I mean? So, but I think that mixture of Billy just not being able to hang with The Rock, not that was his fault, and the poor writing. Now, if this feud with The Rock wasn't right after King of the Ring, maybe if they would have prolonged that a little bit, right? Because he won the King of the Ring, he did a tag match at Fully Loaded, and then he went into The Rock, right?
Exactly.
I think maybe you push that back a little bit. It doesn't kill the steam right away.
And by King of the Ring, he's only been solo for a few months. You don't do that to a guy. If you're trying to build a man's solo career, someone who's been a tag wrestler his entire career up until this point, you don't throw him against the biggest name in the company.
Well, let me, you mentioned a tag wrestler, and let's talk about some of the more positive stuff there, because, well, before we get to that, actually, there was one more promo that buried Billy pretty good too, and that was the Edge promo.
Edge, yeah.
But whatever.
And that was a year later, was it not? A year after his
98, 99, 3 years later. That was 01.
Really? Was it that far along?
It was the invasion year.
Because I remember it was King of the Ring time, right? It was. Because they were getting to the King of the Ring.
Edge had just won. Edge. It was the night after King of the Ring.
Yeah, and he's like, "I will not Billy Gunn this."
Yeah.
Is that the same promo where Billy Bitch Cakes came from?
Yes, it is. So Billy Gunn, though, you mentioned one of the greatest tag team wrestlers of all time. I've got some stats here.
We did a show about the greatest tag team wrestlers in history, and he definitely made your list. I want to say he was in the
top 4 or 5, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
952 combined days as being a tag team champion in the WWE.
In the WWE, that's not including TNA and anything.
He never had titles in TNA. No tag titles in TNA.
Really?
No.
The James Gang were never tag champions?
Nope. Not with him in it. Not with him in it. 3 Live Crew. 3 Live Crew were tag champs, but not.
Right. That's kind of funny to me. Okay.
He is the 6-time tag team champion with the Road Dogg, the New Age Outlaws. That is the 4th longest all-time combined reigns at 468 days. They beat such tag teams. Listen to this, by the way. This is impressive, the guys they beat for the tag titles. LOD, Cactus Jack and Terry Funk, Kane and Mankind, Rock and Sock Connection, Al Snow and Mankind. Then fast forward, and they beat Cody and Goldust as well for the tag titles.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Right?
Forgot about that, yeah.
3-time tag team champion with the Smoking Guns. 9th longest in history total time with 331 days. These ones aren't as impressive. They beat the 1-2-3 Kid and Bob Holly, Owen Hart and Yokozuna, and the Godwins. Not bad.
Wrestling wasn't exactly what it would become. Like, we're talking, 1994, 1993, 1994 at that point?
94, 95, 90. They won their first tag titles in 95.
Okay.
And then 2-time tag team champion with Chuck Palumbo, 42nd all time on the list with 117 combined days. And they beat Spike Dudley and Taz and Rico and Rikishi. And he also was an Intercontinental champion, defeating Eddie Guerrero for the belt.
That's right.
So some
that's a good match. I watched that match.
Yeah,
not long ago.
Pretty impressive numbers there.
He makes, by the way, people don't understand how big Billy Gunn is. Watch that match with Eddie. He makes Eddie look tiny.
He's huge. I met Billy Gunn, and I might even include that picture into the thumbnail art for this episode. But I have my picture taken with Billy Gunn, and I'm like 6'1". He towered over me.
He's a big dude.
He's the most deceiving, and like he just never will look like a big dude because he's always beside like Kane and Big Show and Taker and like.
And even in his own
huge,
even in his own stable, he's standing next to Triple H, who in his own right is a big motherfucker.
That's right.
So you never understood, but wow, he's a big guy.
Yeah, no, he's impressive.
If I may, I have something positive to talk about as well. This is kind of a tangent. This is going to go off topic a little bit. But Billy's the reason that I did this. I really got thinking about Billy Gunn and the things I like about him. And I started thinking about his in-ring work. So a lot of his in-ring work is fantastic. He was the ring guy between him and Road Dogg. Let's be honest about that. Road Dogg did the mic, but he wrestled. He had the matches. One of the things that he did in the ring that I think he does better than almost anybody else is I think he's got one of the most beautiful drop kicks on the planet.
Does have a nice drop kick, especially for how big he is.
Exactly. And this is where I'm going to go with that for a minute. We're going to go off kilter here. I looked up some other people's lists and stuff, and nobody anywhere online has Billy Gunn in their top 10 greatest drop kicks of all time.
I don't think I would either.
I do.
But I'd have to look at it like in more detail.
So I don't think that that's a full-time list for this show. I really don't think it's just drop kicks.
I think it is, but
well, you can tell me not to do this then. But I threw together a little mini list. I have my top 7 drop kicks of all time.
All right, lay them on me. I want to hear
the men that I think belong to be in the list, and maybe the full-time list will be you. Tell me how wrong I am.
I love telling you how wrong you are.
No, we don't have to span it out like we do a regular list. I'll shoot them out, and you tell me any glaring mistakes I've made or anything you really agree on. Starting with my number 7 being Maven.
Okay, very underrated.
Okay, my number 6 being Billy Gunn.
Okay,
my number 5 being friend of the show, Jumpin' Jim Brunzell.
Okay.
My number 5 is Bob Holly.
Yeah, I liked his.
My number 3 is Okada.
Okay.
My number 2 is Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig.
Okay.
And my number 1 is Randy Orton.
Well, you missed 2 huge names that need to be on your list.
I don't think I think all those men have a better one than Rocky Johnson.
I don't give a shit about Rocky Johnson.
Okay.
You missed 2 massive names.
AJ Styles is one that you probably think I'm missing.
AJ Styles.
Yeah.
No, Mike. The way that he does.
No. It's.
I'll tell you why though. The way that he does his drop kick, because he does it from a drop down. The guy is running, and he does the drop down pop up and elevates higher than all those guys on your list. His form is beautiful.
You could definitely talk me into this. I do have a very honorable mention, a very, very special honorable mention, but I want to hear who I'm missing before I give my honorable mention.
Lance Storm.
Ooh.
Lance Storm's top. He's the top 3.
I wouldn't have even. Oh, holy fuck. No, I missed one. I missed a big one.
Yeah.
I missed a huge one that would change my entire list. Maybe even be number 2. I missed 2 big ones. Dolph Ziggler should be on my list. Dolph Ziggler could be in top 3.
Yeah.
And Brian Pillman.
Yeah. And Kofi Kingston.
Ooh, Kofi throws a good one. Yeah, this is harder than I thought.
I told you, it's a hard list.
Very honorable. This is an unofficial list, by the way, everybody. This list could happen on the show for real one day.
It will.
Very honorable mention because I only did singles. The Rock and Roll Express probably has the greatest double drop kick in history.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I will fight you on AJ Styles. I'm not. I will not.
And this is unofficial. This is unofficial list. Like you can fight me all you want.
And I will officially fight you.
The only reason I brought it up is because I truly believe Billy Gunn deserves to be in that conversation.
I don't think Billy makes my list, unfortunately, but he does have a great.
Out of the matches I watched, the few matches I watched today, one of my favorite parts, there was a match he did with Kane, and this is early Kane, like 97, 98, like still like full mass Kane.
Yeah,
and Kane picks up the steel steps from the ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know exactly the spot you're talking about. Yeah,
Billy hits him with the most beautiful drop kick right on the stairs, man. Amazing stuff.
No, I'm with you on that one. Billy does have a great drop kick. I just think there's some real artists with the drop kicks. And let's just say Jim Renzel #1 because he's been on our show.
I'm glad you agree with me that Rocky Johnson. I think he's overrated.
Great drop kick. Don't get me wrong. Great drop kick. There's just better. Yeah. You know, there's no shame in getting beat by a guy like Lance Storm or AJ Styles. Lance Storm, by the way, I think he might be my #1.
Really?
Dude, go back and watch some Lance Storm drop kicks.
Do you at least agree that I have a fight with Randy being my #1?
No, I don't think Randy is top 3. Wow. And Randy, again, great drop kick, but I mean, when you've got
Randy is my favorite drop kick. Randy, oh my god,
it might be your favorite drop kick. Yeah, I don't think it's the best one.
There's
a big difference between favorites and best.
No, because I am perfect, so my favorites are the best. You see how this works?
He was your #2.
Randy was my #1.
No, perfect.
No, perfect was my #2.
That's what I said. You said you are perfect. I said no. He was your #2. I know you're cottage drinking. It's okay.
I fucking hate you so much.
Whatever. You didn't put Lance Storm on your list. You're lucky I don't fucking end this right now.
All right. We have a list to do we not?
We do have a list to do. Before we get to the list, though, I want to talk a little bit more Billy Gunn. I want to talk about some underrated stuff he did in his career. And actually, no, it's on my list. I don't want to talk about that. Fuck it. Let's go to the list.
Before we get to the list, let's talk about the one thing Billy didn't do. All right. Now he's worked in most of the top companies, right? He worked for WWE for years and years and years. He worked for Impact for years. He worked for AEW right up until his apparent retirement. You know where he didn't work? Rock Solid Wrestling.
Oh yeah, we got to do that.
But you know who does work for Rock Solid Wrestling? Crystal Moon, Tornado, kind of us right now.
They have a great ring announcer.
What's that? They have a great ring announcer.
Second best in Ontario.
Very true. Very true. Diamond Jim Lowe, baby.
Oh, fuck, eh?
Hit him with the dates on Rock Solid Wrestling, Ty.
That would be the 19th of August, I believe. I don't have my notes in front of me.
You believe correctly. That is in Kirkland Lake, Ontario, where all the proceeds are going to Kirkland Lake Community. What's it called? Kirkland Lake Community
Living.
Thank you. Yeah, we're good at this, I swear.
Oh God, punches, pile drivers, and pinfalls. So let me tell you that. I love the poster for this, by the way. It looks great.
Beautiful poster. Beautiful.
Anything that has our logo on it, I love too. I really wish I could go up to this show though. Saturday, August 19th, 6:30 p.m. The doors open, 7 p.m. bell time. You got tickets for $25 for the floor, $20 for the bleachers. You can get them in person. You can get them online. You can get them everywhere, man. Rock Solid Wrestling's taking over the world.
And special thanks to our man on the street, the always fantastic James Decker for making his videos and always running the word of Count It Out no matter what we do. And because Count It Out loves Rock Solid, then Jameser loves Rock Solid. So if you see Decker up at the Rock Solid show, hopefully wearing a Count It Out t-shirt, say hi for us.
I would love to get Jameser on the street going again because he did a great interview with Josh Alexander for us, and I'd love Jameser just to talk to the people. And
what I love about Decker is there's no he doesn't give a fuck. Like there's
Yeah, he's the
like
best.
we go around going, shit, are we allowed to talk to that guy? Or, does he work for a company that doesn't let us do that? He doesn't give a fuck. He's just gonna go right up and there's no politics, there's no bullshit. It's Decker, man. I love the guy. He's been one of my best friends since I'm like fucking 10 years old. Got to have him run in the name of Counted Out all the way up north in Kirkland.
Yeah, get us a show bumper from Cody Deaner while you're up there. That'd be great, because that's my one big regret is that we don't have a show bumper from our first Impact Wrestling media we've ever did.
Or were you too shy to ask him, or just
I didn't even think anything of it. And yes, I was too shy to ask. It was our first time ever, and I had a time cue to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rock Solid Wrestling. Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop. All right, let's hit some career moments of Billy Gunn, because I'm going to tell you, man, I'm glad you did this list and not
me. This was a fun little list to do today.
I don't know if I could have done this list. Even like I'm going through his career today, I'm just like, shit. His career is so up and down. He has done some amazing things, and he has done some god awful things.
We're not talking about TNA today.
Or he has done some amazing things that could have been amazing, and then just the execution was dog shit.
Yeah, what though, Billy always made the best of what he was given. Sometimes he was given chicken shit, and he always turned it into chicken salad. Most of the time.
Before we get in the list, just a quick question for you.
Yes.
Top, let's call it 25 tag teams of all time, or the Outlaws on your list?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, top 15 tag teams of all time.
Have to do a little bit more thinking. Probably not, but really close.
I had a feeling they weren't going to make your top 10, so I wanted to see where you lied with me.
Yeah, they'd be in that 15 to 20 range.
They're definitely top 10. They're definitely top 10 for me if we're talking favorites.
If we're talking pure WWF tag teams, they're also top 10. If we're just honing it into that, all time, I'd have to really take a look at it. Probably not. Mm-hmm. I'd say probably top 20 for me all time.
Definitely one of the most fun tag teams of all time.
I
mean, they got me interested in tag team wrestling in the 70s, or in the 70s, in the 90s.
Fucking Ripper Billy Watson over here.
They were just one of the most exciting tag teams at that time. They were doing fun stuff, but they also had a lot of fun tag teams to go up against. That was the thing that the Smoking Guns didn't have.
Let me tell you though, and because I grew up, I was in public school and high school for the Attitude Era. So 1998 is when the New Age Outlaws, like 98 to the beginning of 99, middle of 99. Yeah. That's when they were at their peak.
Yes.
Everybody could do the, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, D-Generation X proudly brings to you, it's WWF Tag Team Champions of the World, the Road Dogg Jesse James, the Badass Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws. Sometimes you just got to do that.
And it didn't matter. Back in 98, it didn't matter if you were a wrestling fan or not. If somebody asked you, oh, you didn't know?
Well, your ass better call somebody.
You know what I mean?
Is there anybody who
cultural icons?
Is the Road Dogg or Rock? I guess would be the king of the catchphrases. Is that fair to say?
Ooh,
Rock had more, and they were funny.
Rock had more, but as far as staying power, as far as like ones that. Like The Rock has what? He's got Lath, the SmackDown that
Rock's got a million.
No, that lasted the test of time.
Yeah, a million. It doesn't matter if you smell what The Rock is cooking. Lath is smacking down. Rudy Poo Candy Ass, SmackDown Hotel.
But no, nobody says. If you ask a 20-year-old fan right now, Rudy Poo Candy Ass, nobody knows what the fuck you're talking
about. 20-year-olds maybe not, but
that's what I'm saying. But if you ask them, oh, you didn't know? They know.
But I don't think 20-year-olds could quote the Road Dogg's whole thing either.
Maybe not.
I don't think that there's ever been.
Maybe they can, because it's been less than 10 years since they did their last run, right? So
how about this? I don't think there's a more impressive catchphrase than the ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages.
Only Road Dogg gave Mike Buffer a run for his money,
Yeah, you too, Bruce. All right, what do you think? You ready for this?
Absolutely.
Should I hit him with
I'm
the old number 7? Should I hit him with the old number 7, Mike? The old number 7?
Is it?
You know what I'm
No, it's
talking
not.
about.
No, it's not. No,
the
it's
old
not.
number 7 throwback, baby, to your Brock Lesnar list. We're talking about
Is
the
it
theme
really his
music.
Okay.
We're talking about the theme music.
Listen.
Take your
I
pick.
can't believe I'm saying this, but I can't have your back on this.
What?
Ass Man.
Yeah.
Ass Man is the
Worst theme song ever.
Best song or best worst song of all time.
All of his are the worst best. Buddy, get up the sexy saxophone for the One Billy Gunn. Come on. Look at all.
Oh, shit, man.
Billy Gunn has the best worst theme songs in the history of wrestling.
I like one of my holy grails on the show. The one guy that is still like on my bucket list to get on the show since day one, since we started the show, has been Jim Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly so I can ask him what the fuck he was thinking when he wrote Mr. Ass. Like.
Okay, but hold on though. We're not talking just Mr. Ass, okay? We're talking. Take your pick. Smoking Guns love their theme song. Very good.
100%.
Right?
Love that theme.
New Age Outlaws, fucking great theme song.
One of the greatest of the era.
Right? Billy
100%.
and Chuck, hilarious.
Yeah.
Degeneration X, banger.
Yeah.
Sexy Saxophone, the One Billy Gunn. And Ass Man, come on. If you can't get down, if you're not down with the old number 7, then I got 2 words for you, brother.
All right. So we at a place now where we can say that I was 100% correct during our Brock Lesnar list.
I just wanted to throw back, in all honesty, and I love his music. I do. I love his music. All right,
that's fantastic.
Let's get a little more serious here. Let's go to the number 6, and I said at the top of the show, but I'm putting them up to scissor me, daddy ass.
Really,
dude? Billy Gunn. It is the year 2023 right now. Billy Gunn is one of the most over performers in AEW. And that is fucking impressive because it's and not even AEW, in wrestling. Scissor me daddy ass, love it or hate it. We've talked about it on the show. It's not my personal favorite thing either. You gotta fucking tip your cap to this guy. You gotta tip your cap to Billy Gunn getting scissor me daddy ass over. The whole arena sings, "Oh, scissor me daddy," but only Billy Gunn could make that work.
And we've had this discussion. I don't know if we had this discussion on the show or off the air, but we've had this discussion where this is where I hit my midlife crisis. This is what made me hit my "oh fuck am I turning into my father" thing, because now I start thinking, is this how my dad felt during Suck It?
100%.
You know what I mean? Am I that guy? I just don't get it anymore.
Well, I think Suck It is still more offensive than Scissor Me.
Because I don't know, man.
Suck It's pretty blunt. Like it's very blunt. Scissor Me, like I think you get a lot of people still that be like, what does that actually mean? Like a lot of people are probably go with it, but I don't think a lot of people actually like.
Oh man, I don't know. I just don't get it. And that is, you know, whose problem that is? That's my fucking problem.
Yeah, and listen, like I said,
and good for Billy, just like you said, good for Billy for taking something so stupid, so idiotic, and getting fucking fans to get behind it. The only person in today's era that is better than Billy at doing that is probably Chris Jericho.
Yeah,
Chris Jericho can take something so fucking asinine and so stupid, like a little bit of the bubbly.
Oh, that's so good, eh? The Wizard,
and make it into a top-selling T-shirt. Name me one other person that could have done that with the little bit of the bubbly. I don't even know if The Rock could have pulled that shit off.
I don't
like
think
that.
So. The list,
know what I mean?
Like the list is so stupid.
And
it's amazing. But it's amazing. But that's Billy Gunn.
You want to talk about catchphrases, man? Put Jericho up on that list.
Good call.
You know,
good call. But yeah, man, you got to tip your cap to Billy Gunn. But not only that, though. He's taken 4 unknown wrestlers, 2 of them being the Acclaim, and 2 of them being his sons, and helped elevate them into all becoming tag team champions in AEW. Like the Acclaim were doing well, and then they got paired up with Billy Gunn, and they fucking exploded. So, dude, that's why, it would have been
I'm not arguing with you.
It would have been my number 7 normally, but I had to go with the old number 7 just because it was the old number 7. But I think that this is
you're not going to get an argument with me just because I'm a crusty old man. This is I'm not going to pull fucking old man yelling at a cloud.
It's not old man. It's old Mike. Old Mike yelling at a cloud.
Old hard Mike.
Fuck. We're just doing this too long.
But no, I'm not going to argue whether this would have made my list. I probably wouldn't even thought of it because it's something that just doesn't register to me. Am I going to argue that it's on your list? Absolutely not.
How about my number 5 then? I almost started talking about it a couple minutes ago, but you look so good to me. Got to talk about Billy and Chuck.
Why'd you put this on the list? Because this is very polarizing with fans.
This is the most underrated work of Billy's career.
People either love this story or hate it, and I get both sides. However, if you hate it just because, if you hate the whole thing, then you missed something. If you hate it because they fucked up the ending and made it stupid in the end and really fucked it up, if you hate it because they fucked it up, all the power to you. If you hated, if you can watch from the beginning up until the wedding and say you hate that, then you don't get professional wrestling. You definitely don't get sports entertainment. That shit was bold.
Listen, here's the thing too.
How else can Rico look like a fucking star?
The year 2002 is a lot different than the year 2022 and 2023. Yeah. 2001, 2002, when this angle started, being gay was being a heel. And that sucks to say, but that's the way professional wrestling was. Adrian Adonis
that still doesn't make it fucking right.
It doesn't.
Let's put that out.
No.
It still doesn't make it right.
I'm not.
No, I know
that.
You're not. I'm just making sure that people know where we stand here.
Yeah.
But
that was what it is. Just like if you were, a certain ethnicity, you know what I mean, a background.
My problem though. Here's my biggest problem with the way they handled this was they should have saw the writing on the wall. They, for the first time in the history of this company, they had mainstream support of GLAAD. Okay? They had, for those who don't know what GLAAD is, that's the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation. The biggest queer support group on the planet. And they have come after WWE
these guys times. These guys were on fucking Howard Stern the week of the wedding. Think about that.
Exactly. Now, is it coincidence? And this is a statistic. This is a fact. I read this today. Right after the wedding, their mainstream marketing, their mainstream poll dropped off 190%.
If you could go back in time, WWE.
If you piss off GLAAD, nobody else wants to touch you.
If the WWE were smart, they should have taken a look at everything leading up to that wedding. They could have done everything the exact same, except for the "we're not gay" part. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm glad they threw a Seinfeld reference in there because I love Seinfeld. But if they
could have even done
they could have done the Bischoff stuff, because instead of saying "I do," Bischoff could have been like, "You have 3 minutes to say I do," and then did the whole shit.
By Billy did the whole, he looks so nervous the whole time. And then he goes, Rico, you went too far. That makes it look bad. That makes it look like you're doing something wrong, something you're ashamed. Even Billy saying the phrase, "We have nothing against gay people." You know what?
Yeah.
That sounds like you're the same guy who says, "I ain't racist," but before you say is the most racist thing I ever heard. That doesn't fix it. That line, just by saying, we're not gay, take that shit out. That's all they had to do.
They could have actually been mega baby faces if their wedding got interrupted and they still kept the angle going. It's a work, guy. You know what I mean? It's a work.
Yep.
Like
100%.
You don't, just because you're gay on TV, it's a work. Like fucking Sergeant Slaughter's not really in the Marine Corps. You know what I mean? Like,
don't tell his daughter that.
yeah, no shit. But I mean, they could have had a humongous babyface mainstream tag team with Billy and Chuck there.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. They fucked that up.
Yeah, big time. And of course, if you want to hear
I'm glad I made your list.
If you want to hear a fantastic story about that segment, then go into the archives and find our Eric Bischoff clip about. He said it was one of the most fun memories he has of his entire career.
I will say I'm glad I made your list because I love that tag team. I love that stable because Rico, what they call him, Rico Constantine.
Yeah,
Rico Constantine really helped elevate that group as well. He was great.
He was also on American Gladiators.
And did you notice later on Billy's career, he sort of mirrored that role. He became the Rico.
Yeah,
to the beautiful people in TNA.
Well, and even now with the Acclaim.
Yeah, but he's not playing that. I guess
flamboyant role. Yeah.
I guess he was pretty flamboyant in AEW. But I mean, like he was flat out. He flat out was the fashion consultant, like Rico was to the beautiful people and stuff like that. So I thought that was a really cool throwback.
I don't know anything about that. Sorry, that was during my no TNA time for Tyler. The T in TNA did not stand for Tyler during that time period. Let me tell you. Number 4, I put it on here because I just think it has to be on here. You got to talk about being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame.
All right. Yeah.
I put it at my number 4 because I think that the 3 moments ahead of it are what solidified him going into the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
I'm gonna give a spoiler too.
For me, it probably would have been like my number 6 or something.
Yeah, it's on there. It's a big honor. But, it was cool that AEW let him do it. You know, I think that kind of shows like what a big star he is to make that even happen. You know what I mean? Yep. But it's the biggest honor that the WWE can give out, allegedly. And I'm not a big Hall of Fame guy, but it was great to see. I know you're not a
big Hall of Fame, but if you were, you'd probably agree with me when I said that he probably deserves to be a 3-time. Because I think the Outlaws deserve to have their own induction.
Yeah,
as one of the greatest tag teams in the history of that company. And compared to some of the people who have their own solo inductions, I'm not against him having a solo induction.
I agree with that. I'm just kind of, I don't really like the whole.
Now, does he need a solo induction? Absolutely not.
I'm not a big fan of the multiple Hall of Fame inductions either.
But it's already a thing. You can't take it away.
No, I know. I'm just saying I'm not a fan of it. Like, how many times can you put the same person in the Hall of Fame?
Well, it's gonna keep going because they basically confirmed not long ago that they're gonna start inducting matches.
I heard that 10 years ago and I haven't seen anything.
Exactly. I'll believe it when I see it, but apparently it's been confirmed. You know, if they were going to do that, they should have done it 10 years ago, like you said, and they should have inducted the first main event. At WrestleMania before 50% of it passed away.
100%.
Now that Roddy and Orndorff are gone, there's no point in even doing this.
Roddy, Orndorff, Snuka, they're all gone.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali.
So that's your number 4. I'm down with that.
Let's break down my number 3 here then. I'm not really much to say about the number 4 than that, but one of the most iconic moments in Billy Gunn's career, I believe, and I'm gonna put the dumpster ride with Mick Foley and Terry Funk.
I'm so happy you put this on because this deserves to be. This elevated the Outlaws from, up until then they were still, a couple of months ago that was Rockabilly and Double J.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? These are 2 guys that have come out. They're doing their thing. They're being edgy in an era because this is still late 97, early 98, where yes, wrestling's getting more edgy, but we're not there yet. We're not. Austin's throwing the bird up in, every once in a while. DX just started telling people to suck it.
Mm-hmm.
But these guys, they're coming out. They're breaking every rule that you thought was in place. They're wearing bootleg South Park T-shirts. They're this dude just called himself Badass. Like, that's his name. His name is Badass. He says ass on TV every week as part of his fucking name.
Well,
these things don't happen.
We're going to talk, spoiler alert, obviously, we're going to talk about the New Age Outlaws a little bit more, but this particular angle.
But this angle, thank you. The whole
angle and match, the whole thing, take the whole thing.
Everything from the interruption of them on the Raw match to WrestleMania 14, WrestleMania 14, everything that spanned in that area, that built the New Age Outlaws. So by the time they joined D-Generation X the night after 14, they were already stars.
Well, this whole story arc was really fun too, though, right? Because they did the angle where they were beating up Cactus Jack all the time. And they broke his ribs, they shit him off the ramp, and Cactus needed help. So he brings in his old good friend, Chainsaw Charlie, Terry Funk with powdered pantyhose on his head, which is such a Terry Funk thing. Now that you go back and look at that, like, is that not the... I love Chainsaw Charlie more now. Like, I never liked it back in the day, and then now that I like know more about wrestling and Terry Funk,
I thought it was a rib.
Yeah,
and God knows it could have been.
That was Terry's idea.
But there's only two men in history that could take a rib like that or take something stupid like that and make it work for them and make it amazing. That's Terry Funk and Dusty Rhodes.
It was Terry's. It was Terry's idea, Mike.
Of course it was.
But then they built up the big dumpster angle. They broke kayfabe with all the wrestlers coming out and like going after the Outlaws. But then
one of my favorite moments,
underrated segment with
Sonny
with
riding, beside
with
that
holding Terry Funk's arm.
Holy fuck, man! That like I'm 16 years old watching that, and that punched me in the face.
I remember like I was in grade 8 or 9 when this happened. I believe grade 8 actually. I was in grade 8 when this happened, and I remember like running into my mom's room and being like, "Oh my god, something real happened! This is crazy!" And my mom gave no fucks at all. and then at the end of Raw, Funk and Cactus come out with their hospital stuff on, and I ran back in my mom's room. They're okay. They actually went to the hospital. They're wearing hospital gowns. Like, what a bark!
That's so good.
The underrated segment that I want to talk about happened after that. I don't know if you remember this or not, when they were backstage and Road Dogg was crying and Billy was upset. And Shawn and Hunter.
Michaels telling him to suck it up.
Yeah. You want to be
That's one of my favorite things
This is what the big time is. And I thought that was really powerful as well. And then, of course, led to
that helped get them over.
Well, yeah, we're going to talk about that
little segment right there.
That
segment right there. They're because they weren't part of DX yet, but just being in the same circle as that's the two hottest performers in the world, that did a lot for them.
We're gonna get there. The other thing I want to talk about is the dumpster match, one of the most underrated WrestleMania matches in my opinion. Great match, followed up by the cage match the night before, which all comes full circle with the new D-Generation X. I didn't put DX on my list because like I kind of was like Hall of Fame was like my DX, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fine. Because yes, were they an integral part of DX? Sure. But they weren't any more integral than Triple H or even X-Pac.
Yeah, I think that second coming of DX, like the four of them together, was something really special.
And if anything, yes, absolutely in the beginning. But then if anything, it kind of loses its
like everything, right?
Its steam or loses its luster. The fact, the way that DX broke up. This is one of the only problems I have with this whole thing. DX breaks up, but then they all go their separate ways, and none of them change gimmick. Like Triple H is still doing the crotch. Fucking X-Pac is still doing his
fucking name was X-Pac.
Billy Gunn still put ass every night. Nobody changed shit. And
Road Dogg still did the same speech.
100%. And then a few weeks later, they start changing up, and Road Dogg and X-Pac are good guys. Triple H and Chyna are bad guys. Billy Gunn decides to go on the Triple H side, and then a few months later, he decides to go on the Road Dogg side. Fucking dumb. So that for me, that makes the DX stuff kind of lose luster for me. So I'm okay with it not being officially on board.
My number 2, you kind of alluded to a little bit of it. A moment that really made the Outlaws, and I'm gonna go back to their feud with the Legion of Doom.
Okay.
So LOD in 1997/1998, they were still a pretty big deal, right? And they put the Outlaws over clean for the world tag titles. Yes. Well, not clean. There's a steel chair involved, but they put the Outlaws over strong. But do you remember a couple weeks later when it was LOD versus Shawn Michaels and Triple H, and the New Age Outlaws ran down, and the four of them destroyed the Legion of Doom?
I don't remember this spot. No.
The Legion of Doom have never been destroyed before, as far as I can ever remember, especially in WWE, but like it's very rare. These four guys put Animal through a table. They shaved Hawk's mohawk, like they shaved his head.
Mm-hmm.
But this was when the Outlaws were still pretty new. They had just won the tag titles. They were still like finding that footing. They were still the South Park guys. But here they are with the biggest stars in the company at that time, Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and the LOD to an extent were still up there as well. And they're getting this rub now. And when the angle was over, there's a moment that I think really solidified them. And I think it's really important. I think it's why it's my number 2. The Outlaws were walking up the ramp, and Shawn and Hunter were leaning on the ropes like this, looking at them. And Shawn looked at Hunter and put them over, saying, "Those guys, I like those guys. They're really good." And like they had this conversation. It wasn't on a microphone. It wasn't on anything. But that moment of destroying the Legion of Doom and getting that endorsement from Shawn Michaels and Triple H, I think it's one of the most important moments in Billy Gunn's career.
I wouldn't have thought of this, but I'm not. You're 100% correct. That's a rub, man. You're getting rubbed by all the right people in this segment. All the right people. You know, you're getting rubbed by Shawn Michaels, who had the most pull in the back. In 1998, nobody had more pull than Shawn Michaels.
This was right before he hurt his back. This was a month before he had his back injury.
So nobody is more important in that locker room than Shawn Michaels. You want to make friends? You make friends with Shawn Michaels. Triple H is Shawn Michaels' right-hand man. Yeah, he's only been in the company for a handful of years at this point, but he's an important person to fucking like if you want someone to like you, Triple H is that guy. You should have him like you. The Legion of Doom, were they in 1998? Were the Legion of Doom the tag team they were in 1990, even 4 or 1990? No, of course they weren't. Were they as over as they were then? Fucking A, they were. LOD 2000
was
before, massive.
But this was before LOD 2000. This is when they were still. This when they were still awesome. LOD.
Yeah,
they were the tag champs. Like they were still the top of the card.
I'm gonna throw something to BG James here to Road Dogg. Something that Billy can't even say. Congratulations to Road Dogg for being one of the only tag team wrestlers of this entire era that didn't need Sonny as a valet.
Yeah, I respect it. I mean, I guess Shawn kind of had it to an extent as a
LOD. You got the Godwins. You got even the Smoking Guns. They all had Sonny at one point.
Yeah, she got around, I guess.
There's a joke in there.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take the higher ground on it.
Yeah,
he's had enough hard times as it is, but
that leaves only one thing, and it can only be one thing.
Wait, I have one more point I want to make on that before we get to the obvious number 1. I think, I really think if Shawn didn't get hurt, that we still would have saw the New Age Outlaws join DX after WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I think.
Everything leads towards that. Everything was building towards that.
But that angle that they did with LOD happened, and then Shawn's prep talk happened after. So they had that history. You know what I mean?
With that said, if Shawn doesn't get hurt, DX does not go on to have the lengthy run that they did, though. And I truly believe that. You know,
what if
DX? I don't think DX becomes what they were, you know, Triple H and X-Pac in the Outlaws. They breathed some new life in it, so it was all of a sudden it was this new thing, and it kept going, and then wasn't anymore, and then was again. I bet you anything if Shawn sticks around, they bring the New Age Outlaws for a bit, and then within months, Shawn and Hunter are probably feuding.
I think that I think they would have feuded as well. Let's do a little. This is just a hypothetical fantasy booking type of thing here. I don't think it would have ever happened. I don't even think the dates would line up for it. But wouldn't it have been something if we would have had a D-Generation X with Triple H, X-Pac, and the New Age Outlaws versus the Click, Sean, Hall, Nash, and Just Incredible, whatever.
I mean, yeah. Like from a math standpoint, from a date standpoint, that's impossible.
It would have to have happened in 2001 for that to work.
Be really fucking cool, sure. However, part of it doesn't make sense because if you're going to do that, Pac kind of belongs on the Click side, not the DX side.
It's always a way around it.
I mean,
Pac could say like,
but
DX is my family.
I mean,
you guys
cool?
turned
Sure.
your back on me. You guys, I got fired from WCW, and you didn't have my back. And who picked me up when I was on the ground? Hunter.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm really kind of got a thing for China, so I'm sticking with DX because they dated.
Yeah, no, that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Well,
got it.
Number one,
they did more than date.
Sorry. Yeah. If my number one wasn't what my number one was, then my ass better call somebody because the New Age Outlaws.
I mean, it's the best thing he did in his career, and that's saying something because I'm a huge Smoking Guns fan. So to say that, he came from one of my favorite tag teams of a certain era and then moved over to one of my favorite tag teams of a certain era, that's amazing. You know what I mean? That's really great. And don't kid yourself. The Guns were one of my favorite tag teams of that era. Now, was there a whole lot of competition? No, but the Guns were amazing.
Yes, they were.
With that said, the Outlaws were something so different, like incomparable to anything at that time.
This tag team should never have gotten over. Let me explain to you why. You're taking a guy named fucking Rockabilly and you're pairing him up with a Jeff Jarrett knockoff, a country singing fucking Jeff Jarrett knockoff. You're starting this angle on Shotgun Saturday Night with the Road Dogg looking at him and with the honky tonk man in the ring going, Willie Will, are you with me?
And the catalyst of this whole thing is a wrestler that no one has given a fuck about in almost 10 years. Like at this point, at this point, no one gave a shit about Honky.
No.
But
he really stuck out like a sore thumb in the Attitude Era. Hey?
Really did. On paper, this shouldn't have worked. This should have gone over as well as Sheik and Backlund and the Sultan and all that shit. You know what I mean?
By the way, just my number 7 might be my number 6 now because I forgot about Rockabilly's theme song. So might have to do some swapping around there. I don't know. Ooh, Rockabilly. Fuck. How did I forget about Rockabilly? But these guys had a pay-per-view match against each other. They actually fought on In Your House, Revenge of the Taker.
Yes, they did.
So for these guys to take absolutely, like, if you want to talk about two guys that like probably were on the verge of being released, like you couldn't get much lower than what these guys were doing at the time.
No.
Billy Gunn was on Shotgun Saturday Night. The Road Dogg was barely making Shotgun Saturday Night at this time. And they got together and they just made it work.
And on paper, you would think that, just not long after, this is not long after. This is only like a year or two after, not even, they broke up the Guns. You would think, because Vince McMahon has a type, you would think that it's going to be Bart Gunn that he wants to push.
Well, he did. Butterbean ended that.
That's because he didn't want to push. Because he didn't want to push him. That's the thing. He got over on his own. That was the problem. But he's got the look. Bart's got the look that Vince loves.
I always thought Billy had the look over Bart. Billy was the standout for me in that tag team.
A sidebar. I think one of the biggest missed opportunities in the history of the WWE and their writing team was fucking up the breakup of the Smoking Guns.
You sound like Jay.
when Billy got injured, the whole neck thing, and then it went nowhere.
Hey, they
very,
both captained a Survivor Series team on the pre-show of Survivor Series 1996. All right,
it's
Salvatore Sincere was in that match, for
Fuck.
God's sakes.
It's almost as disappointing as as the Rockers split when they barely did anything with Marty and Sean.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Kind of on Marty.
It's true. But do you agree with me? Like that could have been a great feud. That could
I
have
think
been
so.
something
I absolutely
really awesome.
I don't see why those guys couldn't have fought at WrestleMania 13.
Billy could have been one of the hottest heels in the world, like long before the Outlaws, but it just never happened.
If I were booking, I would try to stretch that out to WrestleMania 13.
Yeah. But the Outlaws, there's not much more you can say about the Outlaws. The Outlaws, I think you hit the nail on the head. They're probably one of the greatest tag teams in the history of WWE, WWF. Top 20 for sure for me, anyways. Greatest of all time. Look what happened when they came back and joined and were Triple H's little stooges. They still had this tremendous success just by coming in.
They won the tag titles. They won the tag titles 8 years ago. Or no,
exactly.
Yeah, 13 years ago. Wow, WrestleMania 30 was 13 years ago. Holy shit. Yeah, man.
No, it wasn't. Whoa. No, it wasn't.
What year is it? What WrestleMania are we at now?
We just had WrestleMania 39. So.
Oh, sorry, it's 10 years ago. We're coming on to 40.
So
whatever.
Yes, we're coming on to 40. But these guys, they were several years past their since their last tag team run, and now they come in. And it's like they didn't miss a beat. They're going up against guys like the Shield, and
they fought the Shield on WrestleMania.
Fantastic. They were fantastic. Speaking of them returning, though, can I say one thing I think should have been on your list?
Yeah,
because we're talking moments here, and I know this is an outlaw moment, it's not a Billy moment, but it still I think deserves a spot and to be talked about. Raw 1000, I thought was one of the coolest moments.
Refresh my memory.
For them. So Raw 1000, Triple H comes out, or Triple H and Shawn Michaels come out, and they do their DX thing, blah blah blah, and then Triple H says, "Wait, didn't there used to be more of us?"
That's when they came out on the tanks.
They came out in the tank, and it was the Outlaws, and it was X-Pac. But this is the first time the Outlaws have been in WWE TV in a long fucking since they left. Like Billy has not been on WWE TV since he got fired.
But that was only a couple of years after that.
The whole TN. Yes.
Was that the first time? That was before.
This is the first time.
That was before WrestleMania 30.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah. I remember the angle you're talking about.
This was their return. This was their real return.
Yeah. It was the first time the five of them ever did anything together.
This is the first time that the Outlaws have been back on WWE TV since any other Impact shit. So if you haven't seen it in a while, go back and rewatch this. When he says,
I do remember you, yeah.
When he says, "Didn't there used to be more of us?"
Goosebumps.
The fans lose their fucking minds. And that's another thing I want to talk about. This may not be a thing. This isn't a moment, so maybe it wouldn't be on the list, but it's something that both Billy and Road Dogg can take home with them and be proud of. They are in a very small group of people to make the fucking crowd pop the way they do.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
You know what? You know how I equate it to? The WWE version of the Road Warriors. You know, you get the Road Warrior pop?
Yeah.
I think the WWE 100%, version.
100%, man. Like for years, like that pop I'm talking about right now, Raw 1000, that won't be duplicated for a while. And then you get to, I believe, the show you were just talking about. I think it might have been 30. I can't remember. But the show where the Hardys came back, you know,
30,
very similar.
Well, that was a big pop.
Very similar thing where, you know, because people didn't expect it, it got a massive fucking pop, and that's the pop that they got. But they didn't need that surprise. Every week from 1996 or 1997 to 2000, whatever it was, when you heard the crowd lost their shit.
And when you hear it today, they still will lose their shit. and then it holds up today.
100%.
The only
They are nobody pops. Fans just, there's only an eclectic group of people that get those kind of pops.
And that was one of my honorable mentions.
There's a very deserving place in that group for the New Age Outlaws.
I agree with you 100%. One of my honorable mentions was their return and winning the tag titles from Cody and Dustin, which is crazy that that's who they beat for the tag titles. It's like wrestling's wild.
That's amazing.
Also, we talked about his IC title run. We talked about the King of the Ring. They didn't make my list just because the follow-up wasn't fantastic on either one of them. They're big moments, but just DX we talked about, Smoking Guns we talked about, and the birth of the New Age Outlaws. Willie Will, are you with me?
Yeah.
So, Mike,
love it, man.
I don't have much more to say about Billy Gunn.
There might be a lot of garbage in Billy Gunn's career, like a lot of garbage, but the stuff that was really good is still so much better than a lot of stuff that people did. You can take certain careers that didn't have a lot of garbage. They were just steady, really good careers, but their good stuff will never match Billy's good stuff.
Even when
such a good worker.
Even when Billy's writing and what they were giving to work with wasn't good, his in-ring never ever was not good.
No, he was always good in the ring. Did he ever have matches that were just okay? Of course. That entire King of the Ring tournament was just okay.
Yeah.
There was nothing fantastic about it, but name me a bad match in that tournament.
Big Show and Kane.
You know what I mean? Billy's matches anyway.
None for Billy, but
no, that's what I mean. Like Billy went and did that tournament. Were they anything great? No, but I have a feeling now that people probably told him to, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. Play it down because they didn't want him getting over.
Also, they're like, you have 4 minutes. Like,
that too.
What else are you gonna do, Mike? I'm gonna try an experiment here, and let's see if you pick up on this. Okay. Every week. Come on, please get it in there. Just give me one. Get it in there for Billy. Nope. Scissor me, Daddy, Mike. Scissor me hard, Mike.
Fingers out of my face.
Every week, Mike, I tell you to take us home, and you take us home by delivering the same sentence every week. So, on behalf of the career of Billy Gunn, if you're not down with Billy Gunn, then Mike's got 4 words for you.
You've been counted out.
Well, this motivation.